You know that smell when grilled chicken hits the fire? Smoky, sweet, a little charred around the edges? Well, this chicken never touched a grill, but it tastes like it did. The secret's all in the toasted 5-spice and the sweet and sticky glaze we're about to make. Now you can buy Chinese 5-spice powder, but let me tell you that the homemade version is on a whole other level, and honestly, it's kind of fun to make. So to start, I have 1 star anise, a teaspoon of cloves, and about a thumb-sized stick of cinnamon, toasting in a dry pan over medium-high heat, occasionally flipping and stirring to get them evenly toasted, and a couple minutes in, once it starts to smell like Christmas, I'm adding 2 teaspoons of coriander, and again, just giving it a mix before adding the last 2 spices, 1 teaspoon of fennel and 1 teaspoon of Sichuan peppercorns. And if you haven't tried Sichuan peppercorns, you're in for a surprise. They contain a chemical compound that activates touch receptors in the mouth, causing a tingling, vibrating, or buzzing sensation known as paresthesia. And by the way, if you were keeping track, yes, that was actually 6 spices. Fun fact, Chinese 5-spice powder doesn't always contain 5 spices. Sometimes it contains less and sometimes it contains more. Now be careful not to burn these. You just want them nicely toasted until they turn a darker shade and smell amazing. In they go into a pestle and mortar, and yes, you can also use a coffee grinder, but I like this. Don't overdo it. It doesn't have to be super fine. In fact, a slightly coarser grind like this will give the chicken a nice texture. Now for the marinade, I have 4 cloves of garlic and a tablespoon of roughly chopped ginger. And what I want is a paste here. And yes, you can use a microplane grater, but again, I like using the pestle and mortar because I already have it out, and it's just less dishes to wash. I'm going in with a 1/4 cup of dark brown sugar and giving it a grind to get the ginger and garlic into a smooth paste. And now 1/4 cup of soy sauce, a 1/4 cup of mirin, a 1/2 teaspoon of our 5-spice powder. I like adding some MSG, but you do you, boo. 1 teaspoon sesame oil and 1/4 teaspoon of chili powder. And by the way, I forgot to add a teaspoon of salt as well. It's not the only thing I'm gonna forget today. Stay tuned and you'll see what I mean. Now you can use whatever cut of the chicken you want. I'll leave notes in the description below, but it should absolutely be bone in and skin on for the best flavor. I like to use a whole chicken because it gives you options to accommodate people's preferences. And I was gonna show you guys how to break down a whole one today, but I wasn't very organized and it was a bit of a mess. I think I'm gonna make it its own video, so now would be a good time to subscribe if you have not done that already. You can leave the wings in, but I'm saving them for stock, and now everything is going to marinate for 24 hours or at least overnight. Do not listen to recipe writers who say that you can marinate something for only 30 minutes. It does nothing. Do not trust them. It does nothing. And look, if I of all people can plan something 24 hours in advance, I think that anyone can. Now, 24 hours later, place your chicken with the marinade in about a 9x13 baking dish, and the size does matter. You don't want the pieces very crowded or they won't brown up nicely. And if you go too big, the marinade will dry up and burn. I'm placing the breasts in the front because the back of the oven is hottest and I don't want them to dry out. In they go at 400 degrees. And by the way, I forgot to hit the record button on the shot that I just did, but 20 minutes in, you want to go ahead and take your chicken breasts out so they don't dry up, but don't eat them yet because they're going to go back in. Right now we're just going to let the chicken thighs and the legs go for about 20 minutes more, and then we're going to put these back in. I'm going to show you that in a moment. Also, don't forget to set a timer like I also just did. I don't know how I've made it this far. It's a miracle that I've even made one video. So stick with me. After another 20 to 25 minutes until your legs and thighs are tender, your breasts can go back in, and if your pan is looking a little dry or crisp around the edges like mine is, go in with a little bit of water to keep it from completely burning. And at this point, I'm going to turn the heat up to 450 and let the chicken cook for another 12 minutes. But about halfway, I'm getting in there to get them coated in this amazing glaze. Once the 12 minutes is up, your chicken is done, and if you're thinking that looks a little bit burned, well, you're right. There's a lot of sugar in this marinade, which causes it to burn a little bit around the edges. But guess what? It doesn't taste burnt at all, and in fact, I think this is part of what gives it that amazing smoky grilled flavor. Now this has a ton of flavor, so I like to serve it with something simple like rice and steamed broccoli, but I also think Chinese broccoli or bok choy would be even better here. If you want it to look even more pretty than it already does, sprinkle on some sesame seeds or some green onions. And guys, this is so good. I've never owned a grill, and to be able to get this bold of a flavor at home is one of the coolest tricks I've ever come across in the kitchen. So feel free to drop a comment if you have any questions or if you give this a try. I'd love to hear from you, and stay tuned because I'm going to have some more recipes coming out soon.